รำเมจะโลกาถึงปฏิสามปฏิสัญญาลีอภิวรังอาญาเจ้าทังสันติทังสักกาปราชิกาเจติกาสิสีชุนธรรมังอนุกรรมตังเป็นมังตาจัง
นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังธัมมังสังฆังนะมัสสามิ So with my deep appreciation, the Sangha that has assembled here, the bhikkhus, the Siladharas, and those disciples, all of you, the Thai ambassador and his wife, and members of the Thai embassy. This is a special event because the Tuesday group, they've also sponsored the Katina and live in this most incredibly faithful almsgiving group on Tuesdays. Whether it snows, earthquake, typhoon, cyclone, whatever. and always they bring such excellent Thai food. But this is, and so they've never asked for anything. It's strictly this sense of love of giving alms to the Sangha, and so they've gained the respect of all of us over the many years that they've been doing this. And of course, this is, one of the lovely things about this tradition is the support of the lay community. Like all of you have supported us all these years in so many ways that, have given us this sense of gratitude and made our lives as samanas, as mendicants, as monks and nuns possible to devote ourselves to the actual practice. And before I came to England, I went through a panic period just before I left Thailand, where I thought, I couldn't imagine being a Buddhist monk in London. And I thought, if you keep the Vinaya and that, I couldn't see how you could survive. Or if in Thailand it was easy, but I didn't know what I would encounter or what to expect in a non-Buddhist country. And of course, Ajahn Chah's response to my doubts was, "You mean there are no kind people in England?" Having not being English, I thought, well, I'm sure there are. And of course, as we can see today, the generosity of the people here, both from the English community and the Asian Buddhist communities and from Europe and many places, have made it possible for us to live this holy life in a complete way. And the Buddha set up the Sangha in this way, so that we are completely helpless. Samanas, we have no money, we can't have money and own property, or we're celibate, and we have to depend on, we can't garden, we can't grow our own organic vegetables or anything, so we have to depend on the generosity and kindness of the lay community. Luang Por Chah's emphasis on kindness, he didn't say they had to even be Buddhist. He said kind people. Well, that was quite powerful for me because I never thought of it in those terms. I was very cynical. I thought basically human beings are selfish and that they wouldn't, if you're looking like this, strange robe, shaven head, they'd probably just make fun of you. But Ajahn Chah was right. And so these 33 34 years in the UK, there's never been any shortage of the requisites. There's never been, we have absolutely nothing to complain about in terms of shelter, food, raw material, and medicine. So this says a lot for this country itself, that it is a country where one can live as a Buddhist samana. There's never been any problem from the government or, even the local people, even the Church of England has been quite tolerant and receptive. So it is a society that has this marvelous religious tolerance that makes a monastery here in Hertfordshire like this workable. Imagine trying to have a Buddhist monastery here maybe 100 years ago. And it would be very difficult. But in the past 100 years, of course, things have changed. The amount of interest in Buddhism is worldwide. When I started out 50 years ago, in my interest in Buddhism, it was very difficult to find anything on Buddhist teachings in any tradition in the English language. And now there's a plethora of information just on the internet, websites, bookshops. Everything is there's enormous amount of information on every form, every variation on the Buddhist theme. And last night, Sister Jittapala gave me the Four Noble Truths in German. At least I think it's the Four Noble Truths, because I can't read. So this is very moving for me because it's like this is really the barmi of the Buddha and Luang Por Chah, because we realize that this is a tradition established by the Lord Buddha 2,553 years ago. And so it's a powerful tradition, and it's a very pure tradition. It's amazing, always amazed me how the purity of the teaching has never been corrupted, really. When you stick to the basic suttas, the Pali tradition, the Four Noble Truths, the Paticca Samuppada, and these are absolutely brilliant ways of expressing a way to break through delusion as a human individual. And it's not about culture anymore. It's not about ancient India or modern England, but it's about being human and the problems that we all have as human beings. And those problems are not any different, and whether it's the time of the Buddha in ancient India or modern life here in England. And just to, the emphasis on the First Noble Truth of suffering, this brings into our consciousness that this realm that we're experiencing, this incarnation in a human body is the experience of suffering. It's always changing, it's unpredictable, old age, sickness, death, loss and despair. These are a part, an experience that we all endure through in our lives, we all learn from, if we're willing to learn from life. If we're not willing to learn, then we're always going to be disappointed, despairing, depressed, angry by life itself, because we're not going to be able to change it according to our deluded desires and make it what we would like it to be. So these past 33 years in England have been very wonderful years. I really appreciate living in this country, and I become a British citizen, so I have dual citizenship now. So I have not rejected the United States, but I've lived longer here than I have in the States. And then Thailand, of course, is another place where it's like, to me, it's the place where I was transformed. So when I went to Thailand in 1966, I was a very unhappy, confused person, and I did have not that life had been that problematic or terrible to me. I'm not, I've had fortunately a good life even before I became a monk, but I saw no purpose, no reason for living. It's just like you're just going through the motions. And then in Thailand, I really changed due to my meeting with Ajahn Chah. So Thailand is a kind of, like a home for me, because if I hadn't have gone there and hadn't had such an opportunity and such a wise and profound teacher as Luang Por Chah, I don't know what I'd be like today. I can't imagine anything like this ever happening. And it does feel very strange to me to be the focus of such gratitude and respect, because I don't feel I've done much of anything. It's just like you yourself, you don't know how others see you and how you affect them. And so it's always surprised me at how things have developed, because it isn't like I had a big plan or a vision or I had an idea in my mind of what I was going to do. It was just this simple teaching of Ajahn Chah that I trusted in. And that teaching was to be aware of things. And of course, in the Thai language, the first Thai sermon I ever had that I understood in the Thai language was Luang Por Chah pointing to his heart and saying, "It's all here. Do jit. Look at your mind." And it took me a while to learn to comprehend the Thai language, but I was clever enough to figure that one out. Do jit. And so that was a very profound Dhamma teaching for me, because it was something I could do. When I first went to stay at Wat Papong, I couldn't speak the language. I had no knowledge of what I was getting myself into, of Thai custom, of Northeast Thai traditions, and everything was so strange, so exotic. The weather, the food, everything was a bit overwhelming. And then Luang Por Chah said, "Do jit, watch your mind." Well, I could do that. And so through the initial frustration and all the ridiculous creations I made in my mind around the experiences I was having, I could observe them. This sense of being the observer of the mind, rather than Luang Por Chah said, "Don't be the owner of it, be the observer." And so this has carried me through to this present moment. This, like even now, this observing, this awakened state of observing, just the state of mind, the mood, the experience of the here and now that I can observe, through just being aware and reflective on it, and seeing it in terms of Dhamma rather than in terms of cultural conditioning or personal attitudes or assumptions that I have through the personality, through the ego, through the cultural conditioning. So at this time, I was, because I'm 76 going on 77, and I found out yesterday, reading in one of these magazines, that the average age for men worldwide is 77.7 years. For women, it's 81.4. Men, we don't tend to live as long. So I'm, at that age now where average, I don't quite know how to take that. I'm very healthy though, by the way. But also, because of my adhitthana, or my vow to do what Luang Por Chah wanted me to do, I feel that now here in England, the monasteries have their own momentum. It's not like it doesn't depend on me being here or holding it together. In the past few years, we've developed this elders' council, senior monks and nuns that meet several times a year. The needs of the sangha, the problems that arise, are all considered in this monastic way. And of course, we keep to the tradition of Vinaya, so that this is our standard, that is immutable. We can't change or make that into something that we might prefer. We just learn to accept that limitation, those boundaries of that tradition. That's our practice, to give up our own personal wishes and reactions and desires, to live within the structure of this very ancient tradition. And what that does is it leads towards contentment. Now the aim of the holy life is contentment. If we are not content, then we're always thinking that happiness is somewhere in the future, or some other place, or some other situation. For the alms mendicant, it's like we're content with very little. So we have the bangsa kula cloth, the rag robes, or the alms food. Very basic requisites. We're not asking for the finest, the best, the highest standard, or the best quality. Now this is a powerful reflection, so that what it does is, over the years, it leads to a sense of contentment and gratitude that is the real essence of the holy life. So when I leave here, my years here in England, there is a sense of contentment and gratitude through this reflective practice, because I have been treated extremely well in this country, supported beyond any expectation I ever fantasized about, and I've enjoyed living here, and through the trials and tribulations of Sangha life, because don't think that just because we're samanas that our life is just one continuously blissful experience. We all have to work out our karma, and we all are very strong characters, strong emotions, of different nationalities, ages, genders, and so forth, that we have to deal with our own peculiar habits, our own attitudes, our cultural values, and the sense of our self-worth, our ideals, and our views and opinions. How can you possibly live together trying to reconcile all the differences? So the samana life is not even an attempt to reconcile the differences, but to surrender to a structure, the Vinaya, and then to see the causes of suffering, our own pride, conceit, selfishness, our fears, our anger, rage, resentments, confusions, by watching, by observing. And then the power of the Buddha's teaching is it simplifies it all. The Buddha's teaching is ultimate simplicity, and it takes things to the most simple level of just pure awareness. And that's so simple that most people never really get it. We have to make Buddhism more complex, especially for lay people. But realize that we are complicated. Human beings, we're very complicated at this time. We think a lot, we know a lot, we have so much information, so much distraction. We have strong feelings, emotions. We're strongly identified with our bodies, what we appear, what our appearance and our feelings, the conditions that we identify with, we hold to and believe in completely. So it is, one of the great blessings of Buddhism that it gives us a way of having perspective on this, that I've never seen an equal to this particular way of teaching in any other religion or philosophy. It's very clearly spelled out in the Theravada Pali tradition, and that's what I've used over these years. It's just Luang Por Chah was emphasizing always the Four Noble Truths. And that, of course, is the first sermon the Buddha delivered after his enlightenment, and that is perfect teaching. So he got it right from the beginning, and that teaching, it's still. I'm so kind of blessed in my life by having been able to spend all these years, 44 years now as a bhikkhu, 44 years practicing and using that teaching, applying it, internalizing it. So it's not, Four Noble Truths is not difficult to memorize intellectually, but in terms of applying it to experience of life, it's a continuous opportunity in life, because now the old age, as the body gets old, then the vigor becomes less and less, get stiff knees, and so forth. You see your parents die, and you see your teacher die, and you have to bear with the loss of friends, and through separation or through death. And we have to bear with the times we're living in, with so many problems, economic, political, social problems, in a world now that has so changed and changes very rapidly in a way that none of us know what will happen. It's a mystery. What will be the result of all this technology and this huge population and degradation of the environment. But in spite of all that, we do have this occasion, this opportunity, and it's quite important to recognize the importance of this teaching at this time, because this is an ancient teaching. It's not New Age philosophy at all. It's a very ancient teaching that's been available to human beings for 2,500 years. And now, of course, it has never really taken, in the Western world, in Europe or North America, or the Americas, in fact, there's never been any real recognition or appreciation for Buddhism until fairly recently, in the past 50 years. And why is that? Because it somehow is a teaching that encourages us to fulfill our humanity through wisdom, through understanding. It's a wisdom teaching. It's based on wisdom. It's not a cultural kind of religion based on beliefs at a particular time in history. That's why it works, why it's so practical and useful in a modern society such as this one. So, of course, with Ajahn Amro's generous invitation, and got invitations from all over, in Thailand, all kinds of invitations, and not to mention other places. But I would like this next few years to be able to renew myself in Thailand, to live there, and I feel it's very important that I go there and live there as a Buddhist monk, because I have this enormous sense of gratitude to that particular country, because that's where the doors of Dhamma really opened wide for me, and now that this is Amaravati is not an easy place to take on as a head monk, as an abbot, and I couldn't think. Many of the senior monks were trying to figure out who would replace me. What if I drop dead now that I'm nearly 77.7? And then I couldn't think of anybody that would dare take on such a place as this, except Ajahn Amaro. So in Sangha agreement, we all agreed, and then when I invited him last year, I didn't think he would accept, but he has, and so I'm very grateful for that, because I feel he's very capable, and he's at that age now that I think will really, has that kind of energy and interest and wisdom to carry on, and also it gives me a chance to go and live hopefully, a life of solitude. Because I've never, ever really wanted to be in this position. And it's like, I always had this inner voice saying, I want to go back to my cave. I don't want to be here in the focus of, the center of people's attention. And of course it's been continuous ever since I came to the UK. I've been, the senior monk. And everybody is fixed on me, and of course one has developed a practice around that to see the suffering of not wanting the position, or of getting caught up in self-importance, or considering myself somebody special, because it can work both ways. One can actually believe that the ego does play tricks on the mind, and both ways. Both is, I can't really bear this, or I deserve the highest respect. And the Shakespearean line, the summer's flower is to the summer sweet, but to itself it do but live and die. And I always like those two lines from a sonnet, because the fact that what the summer flower is, but to itself, to myself, I do but live and die. And so it is very moving to receive I really appreciate the respect, the gratitude that I've received here. And it's very interesting, to be able to be here I've got letters now from people I haven't seen for years, or I've never seen, expressing their gratitude and so forth, and you don't know how you've affected people till you're either dead or you're leaving. So it's like attending your own funeral, really. I can enjoy it. So I want to express my gratitude and appreciation, and to the Sangha here. It's to the Sangha in Thailand, and to His Excellency. The Thai embassy has always been very supportive of these royal katinas. It's a very great honor to have a royal katina, because these are very rare, and only special monasteries have ever been able to, that the king offers the katina cloth. So at this time, the King Bhumibol, His Majesty in Thailand, next year he'll be 84, and that in Thai terms is a very significant age. So next year there'll probably be an enormous kind of celebration. And he's 84, and of course, in age, he's probably the longest lived king in history, isn't he, of Thailand? 84 years. And of course his health is not all that good, but I've been very fortunate in during these years of my monastic life, living under the benevolence of King Bhumibol, King of Thailand, and also I think like Tenjo Kun, Kemadamo and I, we both reflect on that we were with Luang Por Chah in probably his peak years. I always feel blessed by that his very best. We were his students, his disciples, when he was really at his peak of teaching, and where he really developed, his system of branch monasteries, and his teaching was something that all of us have really reached us in a profound way that has changed our lives enormously. Just this one Buddhist monk in northeast Thailand has had enormous effect on us as individuals, but also you can see here in the UK and other places. So I don't know if I'll ever be back. The future is the unknown, but this is the teaching of Luang Por Chah, my Na. So I make no promises. But anyway, I feel that the teaching, of Luang Por Chah, the way he taught, because he taught the Buddhist teaching, but he made it very workable and practical for all of us, whether you're Thai Buddhists or Westerners. It brings it down to a level that it isn't just an interest in some exotic religion in Thailand, but it's about life itself, and it affects us, and it works in our daily lives and how we integrate it into our lives, whether we're samanas or lay people. So I offer this for your reflection.